Imagine this. You're 80 years old, deep in the heart of the Yakutian Taiga, one of the most unforgiving wildernesses on Earth. The temperature is a bone-chilling -50 degrees Celsius. You're alone, miles from the nearest soul. Suddenly, you hear a sound that makes your blood run cold, a low, guttural growl that echoes through the frozen trees. It's not just one growl, it's a chorus. You've just stumbled upon a pack of wolves, and you're their next target. This isn't the plot of a Hollywood movie. This is the incredible true story of an elderly hunter from Yakutia, a man whose lifetime of experience was put to the ultimate test against nature's most efficient predators. What would you do in that situation? Run, freeze in fear. For this man, it was just another day in the taiga, and his reaction will leave you absolutely speechless. Stick with me as we journey into the Siberian wilderness to uncover a tale of courage, instinct, and a fight for survival that seems almost impossible. Our story begins in the vast snow-covered expanse of the Republic of Sakha, also known as Yakutia, in Russia. This region is larger than Argentina, yet it's home to less than 1 million people. It's a land of extremes, with winters so cold that your breath can freeze into crystals in the air. For the indigenous people who live here, like the Evenks and the Yakuts, the taiga is both a provider and a formidable adversary. They are hunters and reindeer herders, their lives intrinsically linked to the rhythms of this wild land. Our hero, whose name has been kept private to respect his humble nature, is an elder from a small remote village. At 80 years old, he possesses a wisdom that can't be learned from books. His face is a roadmap of a life lived outdoors, etched with the lines of countless winters and the sharp focus of a seasoned hunter. He's been tracking game in these forests since he was a boy, learning the secrets of the taiga from his father and grandfather. He knows how to read the snow like a newspaper, understanding the stories left behind by every footprint. He can tell the difference between the snap of a frozen twig under a deer's hoof and one under a predator's paw. On that fateful day, he set out from his cabin on his trusty snowmobile, his old but reliable rifle slung over his shoulder. He wasn't looking for trouble. He was simply checking his trap lines, a routine he had performed thousands of times before. The air was still and frigid, the silence of the winter forest broken only by the hum of his engine. As the sun began to dip towards the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, he entered a clearing, and that's when he saw them. At first, it was just a flicker of movement in the twilight, a gray shape darting between the large trees. Then another, and another. A pack of 12 wolves. They weren't just passing through. They were organized, their movements coordinated. They fanned out, forming a semicircle, effectively cutting off his path back the way he came. The alpha, a massive male with intelligent, yellow eyes, stood at the forefront, its gaze locked onto him. There was no fear in its eyes, only cold, calculating intent. For most people, this would be the end. A pack of 12 hungry Siberian wolves against one man. The odds were insurmountable, but this was no ordinary man. As he cut the engine of his snowmobile, a profound calm settled over him. Panic is a luxury you can't afford in the taiga. It's a death sentence. He knew the wolves were testing him. Sassin heamed up, looking for any sign of weakness. He slowly, deliberately, dismounted his snowmobile. He didn't make any sudden moves. He kept his eyes on the alpha, showing no fear, no aggression, just a quiet, unshakable confidence. He had his rifle, but it only held a few rounds. Firing into a pack of this size would be a desperate, last-ditch effort. A wounded wolf is even more dangerous, and a chaotic firefight would likely get him killed. He needed a different strategy, one born from a lifetime of understanding these animals. He knew that wolves, for all their ferocity, are also cautious. They're intelligent predators that won't risk injury if they can avoid it. He needed to prove that he was not easy prey. He needed to show them that he was a threat, a fellow predator to be respected, not a meal to be taken. With his gaze still locked on the alpha, the man let out a shout. It wasn't a scream of terror, but a deep, powerful roar that seemed to come from the very earth beneath his feet. It was a primal sound, a challenge. The wolves paused, their ears twitching, momentarily surprised by this small, old creature's audacity. The alpha took a step forward, his lips curling back to reveal a set of formidable teeth. The pack mirrored its leader, their low growls intensifying. They were closing in. The hunter knew he had only seconds to act. He reached for the only other tool he had with him that might make a difference, his axe. He held the axe, not as a weapon to swing wildly, but as an extension of his will. He stood his ground next to his snowmobile, making himself look as large and intimidating as possible. He shouted again, this time banging the flat of his axe against the metal side of his vehicle, creating a loud, sharp clang that shattered the forest's silence. Metal on metal, a sound completely alien to this natural world. The wolves flinched. Their confidence wavered. This wasn't the behavior of prey. Prey runs. Prey shows fear. This creature was loud, defiant, and unafraid. The standoff lasted for what felt like an eternity. The man and the alpha wolf were locked in a battle of wills. The frigid air burned the man's lungs with every breath, and his muscles, weary from age, began to ache. But he didn't waver. He stared back into those yellow eyes, communicating a single, clear message. I am not your food. I am a hunter. Who's like you? And this will be the hardest fight of your life. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the alpha took a step back. It glanced at its pack, then back at the man. The cost-benefit analysis was running through its intelligent mind. Was this strange, loud creature worth the risk of injury or death to one of its pack members? In the brutal calculus of survival in the taiga, the answer was no. With a final, lingering look, the alpha wolf turned and trotted back into the dark woods. One by one, the rest of the pack followed, their gray forms melting into the shadows until they were gone. The silence returned, now even more profound than before. The old hunter stood there for a long moment, the only sound his own heavy breathing, his breath pluming in the icy air. He hadn't fired a single shot. He had faced down a dozen of the taiga's most fearsome predators with nothing but his courage, his voice, and an unshakable understanding of the wilderness. He calmly got back on his snowmobile, started the engine, and continued on his way home, as if it were all in a day's work. When news of his encounter spread through the local villages, it wasn't met with shock or disbelief. It was met with nods of respect. For the people of Yakutia, this wasn't a miracle. It was a demonstration of Bulganyak, a Yakut concept that loosely translates to a combination of life, experience, profound knowledge, and practical wisdom. It's the ability to survive and thrive by being in harmony with nature, even its most dangerous aspects. This incredible story is a powerful reminder that true strength doesn't always come from physical power. It comes from knowledge, respect for your environment, and the kind of courage that only a lifetime of experience can forge. It teaches us that sometimes the most powerful weapon we have is our own mind and our will to survive. The 80-year-old hunter from Yakutia didn't just survive an encounter with a wolf pack. He gave us all a master class in what it truly means to be a part of the wild. What do you think? Could you have kept your cool in a situation like that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stories like this remind us of the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Thanks so much for watching and joining me on this journey into the Siberian tea. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more incredible tales from the far corners of our world. Stay curious and stay safe.